Hey folks, it's Bridget here from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, wishing you a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I hope you're well and I hope you are safe. Thank you for joining me. Tonight we are making gingerbread waffles. I am excited because waffles, firstly, it's one of the best words you could possibly say in the world, waffle. I mean, there's so many wonderful things that word means. It means a really delicious food. It also means to go on and on and on and on and on. And there's waffle print this, and it's just such a beautiful word. And these gingerbread waffles are pretty amazing. So they kind of fit in with waffles. Why are they amazing? They are my Christmas version of waffles. So if you're considering now what you might like to make Christmas morning, or even Christmas Eve morning, or even Boxing Day morning, or New Year's Day, or any time, you know what, tomorrow will be fine as well, maybe the weekend, then these waffles are gluten-free, of course they are. All of my food's gluten-free, but they are also grain-free, which is fabulous, because sometimes you get gluten-free waffle mixes, pre-mixes, and they've got lots of rice flour and stuff in them. Don't worry, there's no grain in my waffles, so they won't be spiking your insulin level like crazy, which is great. Really good for people watching their weight, really good for people, diabetics, or anyone who just wants to keep a handle of their insulin levels. So grain-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, of course, and also dairy-free. These waffles are very, very simple to make. And the reason they're Christmas inspired, because we are using some wonderful spices that you might normally find in your gingerbread cookies. So we're doing gingerbread waffles. They don't take long to make. You will need a waffle iron though. That's the only thing you might have to go and buy, but it's worth it. And I picked one up for about 25 bucks. They're not expensive, and they do make a delicious little treat. So come on down to my beach. Let's get into it. By the way, this recipe is available in my ebook, Bridget's Healthy Christmas, that one there. And that is available on our website, so bridgetsshop.com. I just lost the recipe, of course I did. I lost the recipe. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. Is it next to the lemon meringue tarts? No, it's not. Is it? No, it's not next to the custard. I've also got a Hawaiian cara cake in there, Hawaiian pineapple cake, chocolate fudge cake. Where are the waffles, Bridge? Gingerbread people. Hot chocolate chestnut pot. Oh, we go. Gingerbread waffles. There you go. So there's 50 recipes in that ebook, but I'm also going to share the recipe for these waffles, pardon me, with you guys tomorrow as well on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, so keep an eye out for that recipe. All right, easy to make, as I was saying. You can see I've already got my little waffle iron here, heating up, which is fabulous. I've got it on medium to just above medium, and when it comes to the heat that you want to put, look at that, wow, pretty hot. When it comes to the heat that you want to put your waffle iron on, I suggest you play around with the heat. Always start on medium, and if you feel like it needs a bit more, add a bit more heat the next time you do a waffle. You don't want to start on really, really high just in case you burn it and it's still raw in the middle. So taking up your bowl, as I was saying, the recipe is very, very simple. We are going to start with some, I've got some unsweetened coconut yogurt here, and this is an organic one too, I believe, which is quite nice. And you're going to put 2 heaped tablespoons of this unsweetened coconut yogurt goes in there first. We're also going to be adding in some eggs into the mix, and there's a few eggs in here, which is pretty normal when you think about like breakfast foods. Yeah, there's going to be some eggs in there, whether you're making pancakes obviously or waffles. And for this recipe I've got large eggs at room temperature, and I'm putting in 3 whole eggs are going in first. And I'm also going to be adding in 1 egg white as well. This is just going to help to give our mixture a little bit of volume, which is what we want. So when it comes to separating the egg, you just want to split it in half. And then the easiest way I find to separate the egg is just to swap the yolk from one shell to the next. And as we are doing that, the white just kind of gives way for us. You can also, some people break the egg into their hand and let the yolk sort of slip through their fingers. Obviously that's another way, but that way I just showed you guys is probably the cleanest and most efficient way that I've found so far. So those ingredients are in there. We are also going to probably think about just right now giving it a bit of a stir, just to give it, mixing it all together, because this is kind of like our liquid portion. We're not adding any milk or anything like that. We're getting all the liquid we need from that extra egg white, plus of course our unsweetened coconut yogurt. So give that a little bit of a push together, just until it's mixed. And then we're going to think about our dry ingredients. So I'm going to be adding almond flour. Of course, you could add any nuts or any seed flour of your choosing. You do not at all have to go with almond flour. You could use sunflower seed flour. You could use walnut flour. You could use cashew nut flour. You could even use, in this case, you could use like a quinoa flour as well if you wanted to add a bit of extra protein. So when it comes to our almond flour, whatever flour you just, gluten-free flour you decide to choose, we're going to be putting in 70 grams, which is just about 2.5 ounces of almond flour. And yes, you can use almond meal if you want to. You can make your own almond flour by literally just grinding almonds in a food processor. You don't have to get blanched ones. Just have the skin on. There's so many nutrients that live just under the skin. So 70 grams or 2.5 ounces of almond flour. We're also going to be adding in some coconut flour as well. Coconut flour is good here because it just helps to give it quite a good structure. So we don't need much. We don't want to add too much because coconut flour is a very thirsty flour. So I'm just adding in 20 grams of coconut flour, which is about 0.7 of an ounce. So just 20 grams. Goes in. Let's now consider a raising agent. Our raising agent today is going to be baking powder. So baking powder, you want to put 1 teaspoon of baking powder in there. That's going to help it obviously to rise for us. We also need something just to hold it together, to bind it. And with that, we're going to be using xanthan gum. And we want to put in 1/2 teaspoon. Hey, look at that, I've already got a teaspoon in there. I'm going to use that teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum goes in. If you're wondering where to get xanthan gum from, you can get that from usually in the health food aisle of your supermarket. It is quite popular in gluten-free baking, as it is really good at just kind of emulsifying and bringing everything together. So that goes in there. And a bit of sweetness. We're going to be adding in some Pure's inulin powder is our sweet factor today. I don't want to add a granulated sugar. I want to go with inulin because, of course, we know that our inulin is a prebiotic. It is also a dietary fiber, and it's got that wonderful flavor like candy floss or fairy floss. So 2.5 tablespoons of our inulin powder goes into the mix. Thank you, inulin. And we are also going to be adding in now our spices. How could we forget? Spices, very, very important when you're making a gingerbread spiced waffle. You gotta have spices. The spices I'm using today, obviously ginger. And the recipe says 2 teaspoons. So that's about 1/2 tablespoon. But if you like it really, like you want to up the spice level, let that 2 teaspoons be a guide. Let it be a guide for you. You don't want to go overboard because otherwise it'll be inedible. But you could consider adding, 3 teaspoons if you really wanted to. The next spice is mixed spice, and I'm adding another 2 teaspoons or 1/2 tablespoon of our mixed spice goes in there. I'm going to add a pinch more just for fun. And one of the things that I love about spices, and this is what makes spices so incredibly special, is that spices do not have any fat. They have no calories. They have no gluten. They have no sugar. They have no dairy. They have none of the stuff that we're trying to avoid because we're trying to look after our health, but they have so much flavor. They are little helpers, little kitchen helpers that don't add anything terrible to your food, but they add all the good, fabulous things like all those wonderful flavors. But spices also have very valuable nutrients involved. So there's minerals and vitamins in there. So when you are thinking about how can I add flavor to my food, this is why we always turn to our spice rack, because it's just so good for us and obviously tastes so amazing. So the consistency that you're looking for when it comes to your waffle mixture is about like that. So it's not as thin as a pancake mixture. It's more sturdy, I would say, but a little bit more like a pie clip mixture for anyone who's made pie clips before. But you want it to be quite, you can see it's quite thick. It's just dropping off the end of my whisk. That is ideal. So as you know, my waffle iron is already on and hot. That doesn't take any time to make. And because there's no gluten in there, we don't have to rest this now. We can get straight into the business of cooking it. Because normally with gluten, all that whisking and mixing I was doing, that could produce quite a tough waffle. But because we don't have any gluten flour in here, we can just start cooking. So opening up my little waffle iron, I've just got in this little bowl here, I've got just a little bit of coconut oil, and I'm just very lightly dabbing on the coconut oil, not too much. You could also use a coconut oil spray here. I would avoid olive oil because the olive oil, this gets very hot, this waffle iron. It is an iron, think of it like that, it gets very hot. And if you are putting olive oil, spraying olive oil on here, it will burn and be yuck and go toxic. So you want to go with an oil that can handle the heat. And you know what can handle the heat? Coconut oil. So just a little bit of a brush goes on. You don't need much at all. You're literally just giving it a bit of attention. So depending on the size of your waffles will determine how much mixture you put in. I normally keep them quite small because I like the stack to be really high. I know that's it's my logic. I'm like, if they're small, then the stack will be really high and it'll be great. So I've got 2 tablespoons of the mixture in there. Close it up, let it do its thing. While it's doing its thing, let's talk about what you're going to have as toppings. Now, obviously with waffles, the classic topping, we already have it in our kitchen, and that is some type of syrup, and we're going to be using fiber syrup. By the way, if you have been looking to purchase fiber syrup, is it now in stock, Mahi? Have you opened it up? Mahi has opened it up. It was finished being packed today. And so it'll be available if you would like to purchase it for deliveries will go out tomorrow. So we have fiber syrup back in stock. And of course, fiber syrup is such a wonderful syrup. It tastes like candy floss, like really tastes like candy floss. It is so nice on this because once again, it's a prebiotic, it's dietary fiber, it's very, very, very low calorie. It won't spike your glycemic index. So it's really good for people who are weight watching, diabetics, or anyone who just wants to get a real healthy syrup alternative into their diet. So we're going to be definitely using that. But I'm also going to be doing some of this as well. You could have macerated berries when it comes to your waffles, but I just thought it's so nice at the moment in Australia because it's right in the middle of berry season. Blackberries, look at them, we're on special. So I'm going to go with fresh fruit today. Like I said, I normally might go with some macerated berries, especially at Christmas time. I quite like to have some very gently stewed cherries to go in here because cherries are gorgeous. But the berries were calling my name in the supermarket today. They really were. Yes, we got a question.
Is there another way to make them without the waffle iron?
Is there another way to make them without the waffle iron? Yeah, there is. That's such a good question. There is. What you can do if you don't have one of these is you can just put it into a pan and make it like a pancake. You still get the same mixture. You just won't get that fabulous waffle effect. How cool is that? Didn't take long either. Oh, that's 2 tablespoons of mixture. That's all that is. And put that there. Let's make another one. So really great question is yes, you can make the mixture. You're just obviously not going to get the waffle, but you know what? You're still going to get all that gorgeous flavor, and that's what we're after and all the goodness that we've got in here. So once again, another 2 tablespoons. You put, depending on your iron, cooking 1 waffle and also of course the size. I mean, I could fit so much more in there, but as I said, I like the stack to be high. It just looks more impressive, doesn't it? All right, so depending on the size of your iron, the type of iron, and almost also how much mixture you decide to put in there, you know, allow 2 to 4 minutes per waffle to cook. Can you see? Looking gorgeous? Come on, come up close. Let's get up close with that. Look how, isn't that gorgeous? It is so incredibly good and fast and wonderful. And you know, I was rabbiting on about berries, and the waffle was like when I'm just over here cooking it up, and it didn't take long. So yes, berries are wonderful, but you know what else is very wonderful on top of this particular dish? I also really like stewed green apple. Very simple, but very, very nice on these waffles because those flavors, you know, from the ginger and the mixed spice go so well with stewed apple. It's almost like, you know, you're having a apple crumble waffle. Ooh, wouldn't that be nice? I know, right? Wouldn't that be gorgeous? So if you're using fresh fruit, just slice them up if they are large or cut them into a dice, because you could even do diced green apple on top of your waffles if you wanted to. Completely up to you. So we're going to be obviously using berries because they're gorgeous. They're extremely low in calories. Berries are wonderful. I know we don't count calories here, but for a lot of people, they understand when you say something is really low in calories. Really low in calories, really high in vitamins and minerals. So berries are, at the moment, because they're in season, they are my absolute go-to. You know, every time I go shopping, I always leave with a punnet of some type of berry because they're gorgeous. You know, blueberries and blackberries and raspberries and strawberries and we're going to get cherries soon in Australia, which is super exciting as well. So I reckon this is good to go. Shall we check? Yes, it is. Doesn't need long. Look at that. It is. Look, let's just make one more. Let's make one more because then I'm going to have a more impressive stack to show you guys. And it doesn't take long. I think out of this mixture, if you're using my guide of 2 tablespoons, you can get 7 to 8 waffles. It's a very impressive stack. Let me tell you, it is. I can't remember whether I just went on the top, so I'll do it anyway, just in case I forgot. Here we go. Because it's so light, doesn't even matter. All right. See you soon. So yeah, it's so incredibly quick to make. I'm just going to make another one. So we have a layer of 3. But back to what you can use as topping. So berries, some type of fruit, you know, another type of fresh fruit, anything stewed or macerated. Come up here, let's talk. Anything stewed or macerated would work really well on our gingerbread waffles as well. So, you know, I'm thinking about stewed apples, I was saying. Any type of berry that you want to macerate and then put on top of it, especially when you macerate stewed fruit, is you get the natural liquid coming out of it. So you're going to have a syrup from the apples or a syrup from the berries that you make. And it's really good if you are in an area where you live currently, it's not summer, then obviously frozen berries are going to be such a good go-to for this because you just put berries into a pot, put them onto frozen berries, put them on medium heat, and just let them almost defrost, and the very first bubble that you get out of your berries when you're cooking them, turn the heat off. They don't need any water, they don't need any sugar, of course they don't need any sugar, they don't need anything. You just put the frozen berries into a pot, turn them onto medium, let them naturally melt. You might stir them once or twice, and what you will find is that the liquid will come out of them. And then as soon as that liquid just starts to bubble, one little bubble, turn it off. That's it, berries are done. So easy. It's so good because then you got all that berry liquid as well, which is fantastic. All right, let's have a little look what's going on in here. I'm so impressed with these waffles. Like seriously, I am so impressed with the waffles. All right, come on back down to my bench. Let's finish this dish off. Let's get it plated. Let's get it looking gorgeous because we need to finish it. We need to finish our little mini stack of waffles in a couple of minutes. Isn't it brilliant? And the spices that are hitting me right now is fantastic, as I'm sure you can imagine. So I'm going to go back to my good old friend who I adore, coconut yogurt. Just a little bit. Remember, unsweetened, of course, because we are going to be adding fiber syrup as our dribble. So just that little bit of coconut yogurt. Let's go right on the middle. Why not? Right in the middle. Fabulous. Maybe one more. Whoop. Couple, so what's that? 3 tablespoons or teaspoons, sorry, of coconut yogurt. Don't need much. Because this is really the hero, is when you start putting on your fresh berries or any type of fresh fruit or not. Like, you don't have to have fruit on it. For some people, they think the fruit spoils it. And I'm like, come on, it makes it better. But I get it. I get it. For some people, the fruit is just gets in the way of the waffle. So as long as they're eating the waffle, things are pretty good. So I'm just going to pile my fruit on. Give it a good little a good little color variation. You know, the blackberries are just so fabulous. They really jump at you, don't they? Jump off the plate, jump off the waffle. Oh, looking delicious. Let's now consider the drizzle. Ooh, definitely got to have the drizzle. And I'm for drizzling over the top and then kind of letting it fall down. Now remember, with fiber syrup, the recommended amount of fiber syrup you have every day is between 10 to 20 mils. So it's about 1 to 2 tablespoons is quite good. If you have too much, it can give you a bit of a sore stomach. So 1 to 2 tablespoons tends to be fine, but on our waffles, it's going to be amazing. There's only one more thing I want to do. One more thing. Where's my little tea sprinkler thing? I can't find it. Where are you? Oh, I think this will have to work. This is for tea, and you have tea leaves, but it also makes a very good little mini sieve, as you can see. In fact, I don't usually use it to make a cup of tea. I only tend to use it with my inulin powder as my icing on the top of whatever it is delicious that I'm making. It just works so incredibly well, and then you are left with, like, quite frankly, that is not a lot of effort. Let's be honest here. That is not a lot of effort for something that looks that good. You gotta admit that, right? That is not a lot of work at all to get you something like this, or get someone that you love something like. If you turned up with that, oh, you would be in someone's good books for a very, very long time. Because look, whether you decide this is going to be Christmas brunch, or Christmas Eve brunch, or Boxing Day brunch, or, you know, Friday tomorrow's brunch, or whatever it is, this is such a fabulous recipe. As I said, I will be sharing this recipe with you guys tomorrow on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen on our main page. You can also have your own copy of it, photos included, plus 50 other more festive recipes in my healthy ebook, Bridget's Healthy Christmas, and that's available on our shop. Do not forget, fiber syrup is back. Yay! It's been out of stock because we sell it so fast. You guys love it. If you want to get in and order your stuff before the Christmas rush goes completely nuts, we're still in November, so there's still time. If you want to get your fiber syrup, your inulin, and your erythritol, everything is in the store right now. So I suggest you hit the store, stock up for Christmas so you do not miss out, because you don't want to miss out on this. Alright guys, I better go and hide this from someone. No, not mentioning any names, but I'm going to hide it from myself as well. It looks amazing. So enjoy this recipe, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here again on Saturday morning. We are doing another Christmas inspired recipe just for you. It's been wonderful spending time with you tonight. Take care, be safe, and we'll see you guys really, really soon. Bye.